people saying hello. That's good. See, I was going to go, then I didn't go, and now all you people are saying hi. So that's great. 30 people watching. Send your likes and send your comments. Anybody have any suggestions for topics to talk about? Beth says hi. Good evening, Beth. We are we're in the same time zone then. For some people, it would be the afternoon, I guess. I don't have, most of my people are in the United States, although I have some people who are, it's much later in Europe. But most people are probably on the East Coast, I would bet. Actually, I've looked. A lot of people are in New York, and then I have some in LA. So anyway, Tim, are you typing your question? And send your likes, guys. And if anybody has a question, oh, good. Here's a question. What's the best way to get off porn despite rarely being intimate? Well, it's just like any other addiction. You just got to stop. You got to know that it's bad for you and try to stop. There are people who have support groups for that. You know, I work with a lot of guys that are in support groups, and you would just Google that, you know. And there's communities like people on Reddit and stuff that don't, you know, that are trying actively not to use porn. But it's kind of like anything else. You got to flip the switch and be like, oh, this isn't good for me. So even though we are rarely intimate, it's not acting as a release. Instead, it's keeping me all fluffed up and being more dissatisfied with the sex life that I have. So when guys kind of understand that philosophically, then they're ready to try. And a lot of guys, when they're ready to try, they just do it, you know. And of course, if you're very addicted to it, then that will be hard. And again, support groups can be good, forums can be good, any sort of incremental change. So first doing it much less and then stopping. But it all flows from a philosophical understanding that it's not really helping. It's not helping the marriage. Unless you're completely like in your own worlds, you know, and she's not having sex with you at all, and you're just having porn all by yourself. So you basically have separate sex lives. But if you're wanting to work on the sex life with your wife at all, comes off a lot different when a guy's been using porn. You know, women report, you know, guys are a lot more aggressive, and the guys themselves see sex everywhere. It just primes your brain. It's like you're seeing 100 naked women a day. If you were really seeing 100 naked women a day, then you really ought to be ready to have sex at any moment, right? I mean, shit, that would just be evolutionary. Now, you're not. You're seeing them on the internet, but your brain doesn't know that. Your brain thinks you got to be ready to go at any second. And women are always ready to go. And it makes men really, really dissatisfied then because they're artificially fluffed up, and then they think that all these women are doing all this stuff their wife isn't doing. So I have a lot of stuff on porn use and marriage, and listening to some of that stuff may be a motivator to help you get off of it. Kayla is saying, dopamine withdrawal, how long it lasts, distractions versus whatever they fill it with. So what do you mean? What are we talking about? Do you mean that? Do you mean that porn releases a lot of dopamine, and then are we talking about the porn thing or a separate topic? Because, yeah, porn, like any addictive substance, releases dopamine, and then you got to get used to a life where you don't have it, just like as though you were addicted to Adderall or addicted to crack or addicted to gambling or addicted to sleeping with hookers, like anything, you know? Tim says, thank you very much, doctor. You've helped so much already. All right, you're welcome. And guys really say that it just takes really a couple weeks for it to be different, you know? And then nobody believes me. They're like, oh no, my sex drive is the same. Then they're like, man, no, it's not, you know? Like, and most men are like, I tried to masturbate without porn, and I was just like, why am I doing this? You know, like, certainly if it gets to be enough days, then you can, but it's just not the same. You know, you're not basically having a virtual reality sex experience. So, of course, your sex drive is going to go down because you're allowing it to go down, you know, whereas otherwise, it's like your brain thinks that you have like 100 women to sleep with every day. And man, it's got to keep you up to the task because you are looking at 100 naked women every day, you know, and if you're looking in any sort of evolutionary way, if you would be in a world where you got on some awesome reality show and you were able to look at and have sex with 100 hot women a day, you would really have to upregulate the systems, wouldn't you? You would have to walk around in a continuous state of arousal because it's I mean, this is like, it's kind of like a sci-fi porn thing. Like, it's all on you, Tim, to repopulate the earth with these 100 beautiful women on this island, right? And so if that was really the case, man, you would be in good spirits and you would need to make about 7,000 times more testosterone and like constantly be wanting sex. Well, that's kind of what happens if you're watching porn all the time, Your brain doesn't know the difference. Your brain is designed not to be able to tell the difference between like, why do you think that you like it? Well, you like looking at it because it's like real. You're not looking at like a stick figure drawing. You're looking at it as real as you can get it, which is a video of a woman or whatever you're watching. And your brain thinks it's real, of course. And I always use the example of the woman watching HGTV, right? If she wasn't watching HGTV every day, do you think you would need to have a new kitchen? No, you wouldn't. She would be fine with your kitchen. She'd be fine with your bathroom. She'd be fine with everything in your damn house. She wouldn't even know what baseboards were. Your life would be so much better because she wouldn't constantly be comparing herself to the stuff that's on HGTV. So, Tim, if you're watching porn every day and she's watching HGTV every day, you are like screwing each other because you are both in a dream world. She's in a dream world where people have beautiful houses on very little money and they can just manifest that and then it's glorious and it's whatever, shabby chic, whatever the hell. And you're in a dream world where there's like 7,000 women that want to have sex with you. And both of you are in a dream world and then you are at cross purposes. It would be amazing. What the reality show should be is you getting off porn and her getting off HGTV and you see how long until you start interacting with each other better. I think it would be 2 weeks. Maybe you should ask her. Maybe you should say, hey, I'm considering stopping using porn. Why don't you stop using HGTV? Because I think that we're at cross purposes here. And maybe we should try to be happy in the reality that we're in. And I know I've not been doing that because I've been watching porn. And I know you've not been doing that because you've been watching this stuff on TV. And it's not just escapist. It makes you literally dissatisfied with your life. So why don't we stop? I mean, it's like obvious, right? Like what you are, or if you don't know if she knows that you watch porn. Well, most women know. Most women are like, most women don't know shit about this. So if she's a low libido woman, she's like, oh, thank God he's off there watching porn and jerking off because I don't have to deal with it. But then she doesn't think about how it impacts you. I don't know though. I mean, I would have to know so much more about your life, your wife. I mean, in general, I think people should be honest. But I mean, if she's like one of these purity culture women that's going to have a panic attack about it, then maybe you need to, tell her more incrementally. Like, do you know what porn is? On like the first day and then by the second day, you're like, sometimes guys use that. I mean, I don't know what a slow roll she needs. But point is, most women know that their husband uses it. Most women think so. But very religious women are sometimes, they don't know. They just don't even think about it. It would be like you telling her that you literally went to a brothel. So, whatever. Why don't you just go off it? Why don't you just go off porn and like just try that just for your own self-development. And if it's transcendentally positive, then you can tell her that you went off it. If she's that low libido, then she probably doesn't know her ass from her elbow in this regard. She doesn't know it's bad. She doesn't know you use it. She doesn't know anything about it. She barely knows what it is. And, but she will notice when you stop acting kind of like a guy in a porn when you have sex or when you try to hit on her, or stop looking at her body in the same kind of way that somebody does when they're looking at porn every day, which is different. I could tell when male clients have had like a porn bender, they come in aggressive. They talk about sex differently, and their wives are like, he wants to do all this random shit. Like, I don't know where this is coming from. And the smarter ones are like, oh, he used a lot of porn. Tim says, so Adam says, I've arrived with questions. Okay, well, tell me them. Tim says, but then I tend to want her more, then get rejected, and it sucks. See, Tim, that's the opposite of what's going to happen. Most guys tend to want her less because they want sex less because they're not artificially priming the pump all the time. So see if that happens, and that's positive because her libido is low. Yours is high. Don't you want to get somewhere in the middle, especially if yours is artificially high with this substance, of constantly pushing porn into your brain. So You know, I mean, if she took, like, HGTV, that artificially makes her want a better house. Artificial. She didn't want a better house. Then she turns it on. She didn't even know what some of this shit was. She didn't even know what the doors were, what the windows were. She didn't even know that stuff. She can't know it. It's the exact equivalent of porn. So you learn, you see some people do something on the internet that you never saw before. Now it's in your brain. Now you want to do it with your wife. That's just like how she feels about whatever the fuck, you know, whatever. I don't even know when I don't watch HGTV, but whatever they're putting on there, whatever new refrigerator, whatever chef's kitchen, whatever sunroom, she didn't even think about that. She didn't wake up in the morning and say, man, I really want a $50,000 sunroom. But once she sees that episode, guess who's going to want a $50,000 sunroom? She is. And once you watch porn, guess who's going to want to do anal tonight? You are. You know, and you didn't. You didn't before. It was maybe somewhere in the way back of your brain, and now it's in the front. And you look at her different after you've seen that clip. Just like you look at every woman in the street different. Because it all seems like everybody's either just had sex or they're about to have sex or something with sex. And most women are thinking, what time is preschool pickup? How am I going to balance that with grocery shopping? And like you're thinking you're seeing a bunch of MILFs because that's what you just watched. Adam says, I want it 7 days a week. She doesn't want it at all. I struggle with the fact that she doesn't want it. I've asked. She says, I just don't, but she does give pity sex. What should a big, strong man do after 16-year marriage with a teenage child? I just need 3 minutes. There's so much here. There's so much. What about the big, strong man part? Why are we putting that in? That's how somebody talks when they watch porn all the damn time. I'm telling you, it goes into your, even the speech patterns. And if you just need 3 minutes, 3 minutes is a terrible interaction for her. That would hurt her because she wouldn't be warmed up. So women require foreplay in order to not feel hurt as they get older. When they're very young, then they're good to go all the time. But as women get older, right, then they're not going to be like in a spontaneously aroused state. So if you're using, if sex is only 3 minutes, it's going to not be something she ever looks forward to. It's going to hurt her during those 3 minutes. It's going to be terrible and she won't want to do it anymore. So I think you guys need to start with non-sexual physical touch, with hugging and kissing and massage and that kind of thing. Because and I think that you need to do some research about what sex looks like for women, good sex. And I have a lot of podcasts about that. Like, what does female arousal look like? And like something about, do you even know your wife's sexual potential? Because the 3 minute sex doesn't do it, you know? And so the way that you're thinking about it comes, in my mind, exactly how people talk after they've been having like a 6-hour marathon jerk-off session. And that is not something that, like, it's not cute. It's not what women want to be near. It feels aggressive and it feels threatening, really, even though you may not think of it like that. Tim says, Josie says, I'm unhappy in a sexless marriage, been working on it for 25 years. I realize we're not sexually compatible. Problem is I don't have the balls to leave, too empathetic and scared. So 25 years means your kids are probably out of the house. So I have podcasts about this, you know? And Tim says, grateful for your wisdom. Eric says, I love long sex. The other guy said busted, but then he deleted that. Don't delete your comments. If I have the respect to answer it, don't delete it. But yeah, anyway, so, but point being, if you have not left after 25 years, then you would want to go to a therapist and figure out what's keeping you there, even though, right, the kids are out of the house and you could probably enjoy the rest of your life. But if you've always been in a workhorse sort of identity, then, you know, you just think that your part of life is to really not enjoy it very much, and life is full of suffering and you're a martyr and you should read my stuff on the workhorse and go to therapy, really, to figure out, because I'm sure you didn't see a very happy marriage growing up. So you would want to think about it like you only have one life to live, right? So, I mean, you could be happy. You could be happy. At least get into couples counseling, you know, something. But actually, you said you've been working on it for 25 years, so then probably you have been in couples counseling. So then back to my original thing, you know, which is individual counseling. All right. Any more questions? Any more questions? All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for participating. And if you have any other questions, then go to the secret group, and there's a lot more engagement in there. And you should all be listening to the Dr. Psych Mom show. And of course, if you ever need a therapist or a coach, you could reach out to me or anyone at my practice, bestlifebehavioralhealth.com. And we even have somebody who's doing 3-hour intensives if that's something that you're interested in. And I will talk to y'all soon. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.